Star Fox 64 was the second game my family ever owned, so that means I have a great nostalgic fondness for it. But I think I enjoy it more as an adult and appreciate it more now than I did back then. You take a look at it and you think it's a silly little game about animals flying spacecraft, shooting things out of the sky. And yeah, that's basically the entirety of the gameplay, but it controls very precisely, and a single run through the game takes less than 2 hours. But depending on your actions and how well you play, you can go through different paths, encounter new enemies. New things might happen to you depending on the route you've decided to take, or that you were forced to take. You're encouraged to play it repeatedly, going for the high score on each planet, maybe going for the high score of a run. And then there's the harder difficulty, which I already played through the entire game. Why would I want to play on a harder difficulty? Oh, because I get some sunglasses? Alright, I'm playing through the entire game again. There are a lot of other games that have space shooter segments, where you're playing something akin to Star Fox, but they never quite feel as tight or responsive. Star Fox 64 really nailed it. And the characters don't blather on for hours and hours. They speak in very succinct snippets, like you would expect over the radio in the middle of a firefight. They're not going to tell you their backstory. They're not going to go on a long diatribe. They'll just tell you the information you need to know, but they'll still do it in a colorful way that reflects their personality. It makes them memorable without being obnoxious. And as you play through the game multiple times, doing better on each run, they'll actually start to comment on that. You'll start hearing some slightly different voice lines playing as they gradually become more impressed with your flying and shooting skills.
We're gonna break through that fleet. You're becoming a better pilot.
There are 15 levels in the game, but 3 of them take a detour from the usual expectations. One of them's a submarine level, which is paced a bit slower. The submarine does not go very fast. Not everyone's a big fan, but it's only for 1 level, and I thought it was an interesting change of pace. And there are 2 levels where you're driving the Landmaster, a ground-based tank. And those are pretty good too. I think they're decent for one world. I wouldn't want to play the entire game in the tank, because flying around is a lot more fun. But for one planet, each run, yeah, I would take a diversion like this. Star Fox 64 is such a great game, such a near-perfect game, that there hasn't really been a Star Fox game since that matches it. There was Star Fox Adventures, and Star Fox Assault, and a handheld game that most people didn't play. And then they reimagined the exact same Star Fox 64 game, but with motion controls, and called it Star Fox Zero. And then they did a graphical update version called Star Fox 64 3DS. They keep on remaking Star Fox 64 because it's the best Star Fox game, and they can't really seem to top it. Which is a real shame, because I would love another great entry in the series. Please, give me Star Fox 65. I don't care what you call it, just give me another amazing Star Fox game. I love going through the game and finding new things. I must have played this game 100 times before I realized that if you don't accidentally shoot any of the very fragile allied ships on the Katrina level, then you get new dialogue from Bill congratulating you. I didn't know that.
I'm glad we're on the same team, Fox. You owe me one.
Some of you may be looking at that and thinking, what's the big deal? But there are people out there that are seeing that for the first time, and it's blowing their mind. Probably. I'm making an assumption here. In fact, I might be the only person who even cares about this. But again, your teammates don't really say a whole lot of new things, so when you stumble upon a new voice line, I don't know, it felt like a very big deal. I just sound like a crazy person, don't I? For the longest time, I would go through the game with the exact same 7 planets in a row, because those were the ones that gave you the best chance of getting a high score, to the point where I started to miss some of the other levels. I missed some of the planets on the easy path because I just never saw them, so I would purposefully have to go out of my way to go on the easier routes just so I could revisit some of the fun moments from the easy planets. I feel like I'm running out of things to say here, because there's not really a whole lot to say. It's Star Fox 64. What you see is what you get. It's a fun experience. It doesn't take long to beat the game. In fact, if you started playing Star Fox 64 when this video started, you're probably halfway to the end of the game at this point. Okay, maybe it's not that short, but still. I'm very happy to play a game these days that respects my time enough not to drag on forever. Star Fox 64, you are a great game.
All aircraft report.
I can see the look on their stupid faces.
I'm sure we heard him this time.
You're pretty good, Tiger. See you again.
Now it's our turn to kick some tail.